First time, we welcome you to our booth. It's so great to have you aboard. Alongside former Pittsburgh Pirate and Chicago Cub Stephen Brault, I'm Greg Caserta. We're really happy to be with you, and we're excited because this has a playoff atmosphere. Every game here feels like a Game 7.
Absolutely. You have to remember, it may say qualifiers after that WBC, but for everybody in this tournament, all four teams, this is the beginning of the World Baseball Classic. You got to win these to get there, and so this is as big as it gets for these teams.
Let's take a look at the map. We've got China and Germany, but we've got two other teams who you'll see later tonight. First things first, China and Germany, they're the underdogs coming in. There's no question about it. Tonight in the nightcap of our doubleheader, we've got Brazil and Colombia. China in the qualifying round for the first time ever. Colombia looking for their third straight berth in the World Baseball Classic. We'll start with Team China, number 20 in the world. They've made the last 5 World Baseball Classics, but Stephen, now they're under the gun of having to qualify for the first time.
Yeah, and it can be a little bit jarring for a team that was always invited here, now having to qualify, but they have not had good success in the World Baseball Classic in the past. Just 2-14, always eliminated in that first round, and a very young roster this year. Ray Chang has moved from longtime player to now hitting coach for this team. He thinks that they have a lot of good stuff going on. Played together for 19 games in the California Winter League before this, so huge for them to have that team atmosphere and spirit.
Similar story for Team Germany. Jendrik Speer, who's played in more games for Team Germany than any other player in the history of the team, now managing. 44 years old, but he thinks this is the best squad they've ever put together.
Yeah, he really thinks that what they've put together is something special, and you can tell. You go down on the field, and these are some big boys down on the German team, but so far they have the exact opposite problem of China. They've never been in the main World Baseball Classic. They've tried to qualify 3 times up till now, but as you said, manager Jendrik Speer really believes that this is the best team they've had. They're very confident, and they also played 5 games together, including against the San Diego Padres prospects, in getting ready for this tournament. So absolutely huge for them.
Time to get the party started. The Tucson qualifier begins with China and Germany right after this. But first, let's take a quick look back at the Regensburg qualifier from a few years ago.
We are set to go for the host nation, Germany, in front of an anticipated sellout crowd. Well struck and chasing both outfielders back. It's gone as Justin Wiley goes out to the opposite field. William Germain belts one out. Germany's got the lead back 3-2. Germany breaking out at the plate on the way to an 11-5 win over South Africa.
And Germany's got 3 outs to work with to try to save its bid in front of a home crowd. Kovalev in the bag in second for 1 on the first, and the Czech Republic will play for a berth in the World Baseball Classic.
Tucson, Arizona, 65 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, as we welcome you back to Keno Veterans Memorial Stadium. Alongside Stephen, I'm Greg Caserta, so great to have you aboard. Our great producer, Mike Trainer, and the rest of our crew, bringing you 3 straight days of double headers here in the desert. And for the very first time, you get a look at German manager Jendrik Speer, 44 years old. Debuted for the German senior national team when he was just 16 years old back in 1997. He has been a fixture with this team for more than 2 decades, and he feels that this is a group that the German community can be really proud of. On the other side for Team China, number 20 team in the world, it's manager Wei Li. Managed Team China in last year's U23 Baseball World Cup. He has coached in the China Baseball League, but one thing these 2 teams have in common, Stephen, is that they've been together for a really long time.
They have been. Both of these teams, a lot of the players not only played together in, let's say a tournament last year, a tournament 2 years ago. No, we're talking about these guys playing together from U12 and coming all the way up 15, 18, 23, and now in the senior circuit of the World Baseball Classic. It is amazing because you can build so much. These tournaments, you need to play as a team in order to win, and both of these teams have more of that team aspect than most other teams that are in these tournaments. So it'll be interesting to see if that really does help.
Germany certainly has more experience. The Chinese squad is much younger, much more raw, especially on the pitching side. Here's the lineup for Game 1. And they're going to lead things off with a couple of lefties at the top. Tenyuan Hu at second base, Pei Li Ang in center field, and then Ning Lee, the catcher, batting third. You'll see the big boy, Samuel Benjamin. He's in right field cleaning things up. Yoon Lu, Jin Young, Wenbin Xiing, Jiaji Chen, and Jinjun Luo rounding out the order for Team China as they get ready to face German right-hander Markus Solbach, who draws the start here. And there's that experience that we spoke of. 33 years old, 9 seasons in affiliated baseball with 4 different organizations. And as you just found out not too long ago, that changeup's a neutralizer for him.
It is. He's going to come after you with the normal kind of repertoire. He's going to have fastball, cutter, a slider, a changeup. But that changeup, throughout his time in the minor leagues, 542 2/3 innings pitched in the minor leagues. He had a 33% whiff rate on that pitch, so that is definitely something he's going to be going to a lot. He's appeared in the World Baseball Classic multiple times. 2013 he struggled, but then in the next appearance he actually looked a lot better. Went 6 innings. He's shown that he's still that same guy. I talked to a lot of people about Solbach and what he is to this team, and they really believe that he is the #1 starter here and can get really good stuff done for them.
Here is Solbach's numbers from a few years ago. He was co-MVP in the Australian League with Tim Kennelly, and over 9 minor league seasons, he had a 3.96 ERA and close to 400 strikeouts and more than 542 innings. Originally signed with the Twins before the 2011 season. Those Deutschland jerseys, the white with the black and orange trim, really sharp. In contrast to the Chinese uniforms, red and gold, this is a great start in terms of an aesthetic to this tournament. And as we get further along, we will explain some of the rules and regulations. Pitchers severely limited in terms of the number of pitches that they can throw. And a pretty good turnout for this Sunday morning start here in the desert. We are ready to rock here in the Tucson Qualifier. 4 teams vying for the final 2 spots in next year's World Baseball Classic. And on a 65-degree day here in the desert, first pitch is in for a called strike.
I mean, nice easy fastball to start it off. Always nice to start off with a strike.
Solbach working with Yannick Walter behind the plate here today, and he doubles up. It's quickly 0-2. Tenyuan Hu leading things off. And right away, Solbach, a fast worker. Protected foul.
And you're going to see a lot of that here in this tournament. A lot of fighting the ball off, trying to extend at bats to get pitchers out of there early. Make teams have to go into that bullpen.
I mean, just look at how Hu's choking up, but it doesn't matter. Finally, Solbach slows him down, and there's the first out on a K for the right-hander.
Yeah, 3 fastballs and then a changeup. I mean, exactly how you build it up as a right-hander against a left-handed hitter. And this pretty much perfectly located. Looks just like a fastball. Drops off the table. It's almost got splitter movement to it.
Good tunneling on that. And we talked about the changeup being the weapon for Solbach as he deals inside to Pei Li Ang, 26 years old. In the last World Baseball Classic in 2023, he was China's leadoff hitter. 3 for 16 at the top of the order. But he hit China's lone home run in that tournament in their 8-1 loss to Japan. So a little pop in the 2-hole. And they're just not picking it up right now as Solbach continues to work ahead.
Yeah, this is exactly how you want to approach this, because if Solbach goes over 50 pitches, he's done for the tournament. So if you're going to use that, you want to be efficient and go into this inning as long as you can.
And there's a whack back up the middle for a base hit. That one caught too much of the plate, and Li Yang gets aboard with a 1-out knock.
Good swing there. Kept it short and compact, stayed in the middle of the field. And that pitch was, you know, a little bit too good for the situation there. Just kind of over the middle of the plate with that fastball. And good swing there. Had a little bit of a cut to it. It looks like it almost took away from the carry of that fastball. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that.
Kind of leaked back out over the plate. Not sure if Solbach was trying to elevate a little bit more, but Li Yang gets on. That home run that he hit in the last WBC came off a 4-time Japanese All-Star Shosei Togo. He's produced on some of the grander stages.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that when I talked to Ray Chang, he mentioned was this team in the U23 tournaments has been playing really well against teams that they have historically struggled big time against in the past. And so he really believes that their team togetherness is very helpful for what they can do.
Pretty sneaky pickoff attempt right there from Solbach. The big fella, Donald Lutz, holding Li Yang on over at first. Popped up in back of first, a chance for Lutz, tracking it down, and he popped it. Just couldn't hang on. It looked like he kind of ran out of room, or at least he thought he didn't have enough up against the protective netting.
Yeah, right before that ball went into his glove, he looked down, and it was just the worst time you could possibly have. You'll see this. He knows where he is, but then I think he hits that warning track right at that time, so he takes a quick look, and then that glove is just a minuscule inch off. You know, baseball, man, it's a tough game.
And those are the types of plays that will drive up a pitch count. Solbach should have had out number 2. Now the runner bluffs, and there's a wild one, and it ends up hitting Lee. So how quickly an inning changes. Could have been 2 outs with 1 on. Instead, China's got a little something here in the top of the first.
Yeah, it looked like just kind of hooked around that one. Hey, and you'll take it base runners any way you can in this tournament. We talked about this a lot, but if you're going to score 5 runs, it doesn't matter if it's in the first or the 7th. You need to win the game right now. So we'll see what China's able to do here against Solbach.
And he couldn't draw it up much better for Samuel Benjamin, who's only 22 years old. Out of Walnut Creek, California. There's a reason why they've got him in the cleanup spot.
He just got a pitch clock violation. 0-1, yeah.
Catch by Stevens, so the count now with the first pitch thrown at a ball and a strike. Benjamin hit 26 home runs over the last 2 seasons at Houston Christian. Pretty good college program down there in the state of Texas, and he breaks his bat and scares a few Germans in that first base dugout.
Yeah, it really hooked around the outside of that one. Solbach not throwing with much velocity, and so that's going to be something that a guy like Benjamin, who's used to facing higher velocity, you know, it's not that it's worse, it's just he's going to have to figure out a way to be able to hold back to try to keep the ball in the center of the field. And that can be very difficult against a guy, especially a guy who's change-up heavy, and that's his best pitch.
Infield rounded for Team Germany. The shortstop Alex Schmidt shaded out up the middle. And there it is. More off speed. And Benjamin,
guess it hit the dirt.
Yeah, caught a piece on the way in. No argument either from the catcher Yannick Walters, so Benjamin just getting a piece to stay alive on 1 and 2 as we get another look. It's pretty clear. Another 1-2 from Solbach as he crosses the 15 pitch mark. Popped up off third, Brank running over, Brank shading the sun. Nice play up against the railing by Eric Brank.
That's not an easy play. We just saw it on the other side with Lutz. But over here, Brank, he's the team captain of this Team Germany team. He's been here for a while. Everybody looks up to him and what he does. So to see him make a nice defensive play down the line in the first inning is very fitting and exactly what this team needs. Great catch there.
You couldn't approach that much better, right? With the footwork and the awareness to check for the railing. So a huge second out for Solbach. Now it's Yoon Lu. And he just gets blown away with strike 1.
I think that's the first true four-seam fastball we've seen out of Solbach. He's been using that cutter quite a bit and the changeup. And that had a little extra heat to it, 89 there.
Had a pretty good extension off the mound at 6'5". Why not? He goes back to it and jumps ahead 0-2.
Huge situation here, especially I would say for China, getting those runners on first and second in the first. You can really make this game, you know, the kind of game that Germany has to come back, and that can make things a lot more difficult for an offense.
Li Yang at second, Lee at first. Line the other way, base hit into right. Bergman up with it, throw to the plate. Not in time, and China strikes here in the first.
And what a great approach, awesome swing. just to be able to get that ball out into the outfield and right field, kind of fought it off on the inside part of the plate, used the, not necessarily the barrel of the bat, but got it out to right field, get the RBI single, take the lead here in the first, and make Germany have to play catch-up, and you're still threatening here first and third.
Two well-struck singles here in the top of the first for Team China. Yoon Liu on 0-2 gives the Chinese the early lead. And as Steven mentioned, runners at the corners for Jin Young. And he lifts one out to right field, but Bergman is there. And the inning comes to an end. But China scraps its way to a run in the first. Germany coming up for the first time right after this. Team Germany comes to the plate for the first time, down by a run. The number 17 team in the world, 3-6 all time in the last 3 qualifiers. They hosted a couple at home in Regensburg, and now they get a chance against the right-hander, Alan Carter, also known as Yenlun Zhang, and already a pitch clock violation on the leadoff hitter for Team Germany, Eric Brank. So we've seen a couple of those already in each half of the first. And it's a ball and a strike on the German third baseman, Eric Brank.
Pitch clock is a new concept for these players. They've never played with it before. So as we saw in Taiwan, a lot of pitch clock violations. Expect that also here.
Brank, Helmig, and Dunn for Team Germany here in the home first. Brank, 32 years old, out of Long Beach, California. His mother is of German descent, and eventually Eric got a German passport so he could play back home in Germany. And there's a beauty on the outside corner from Alan Carter.
That's exactly what you're looking for to start, just like on the other side. Strike out to start the game. You know, I think that what we've seen from Carter, a guy who's gotten all the way up to Double-A quickly, played in draft leagues. You know, he's kind of moved around quite a bit. 27-year-old from Singapore, and this is the first time we're really going to get to see his stuff. And I'm curious to see that pitch look nasty.
Carter played for China in the last WBC in 2023. Became the first player born in Singapore to play in the Classic. Gave up 1 hit over 3 innings against the Czech Republic in relief. Here for the qualifier, he draws the opening day start. And he's working both sides of the plate. Helmig in a 1-1 count. Yenlun Zhang on a 1-liner to short. Jin Young right there.
The center fielder, number 10.
And Helmig's down, so a quick start here.
Yeah, nice efficient at-bats here in the first two at-bats for Zhang, and this is how you have to go about this, as we talked about before, but good job getting in on the lefty and fights it off to the left side. Good approach, but that's why you got a shortstop there.
7 pitches, 2 quick outs, and now it's Lucas Dunn. And you see a little giddy up coming off the mound from Zhang. Lucas Dunn, 25 years old, out of Panama City, Florida. His mother also of German descent. And this is really the perfect formula for Team China. Get that early run and let your right-hander eat.
Yeah, we call this the shutdown inning, right? Huge for Team China to try to get a 0 here in the bottom half of the first, because the lead doesn't feel like a real lead until you have it for an inning. And so huge here to be able to get in, especially ahead of Dunn here, 0-2.
Wouldn't this be something? A 10-pitch first for Zhang. Overthrows that one.
94 on the gun.
His last taste of the mound in the World Baseball Classic left a sour taste in his mouth. It was against South Korea in that blowout loss. He gave up 4 runs in an inning and a third.
A little bit of slip there on the mound at the end of that pitch.
And he goes back to the heater, striking out Dunn to bookend a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. Yenlun Zhang with a couple of strikeouts. We're through 1 here in Tucson.
With 350 days of sunshine a year and wide open spaces ready for you to explore, Tucson is perfect for your next adventure. Check us out, visit Tucson.org or find us on your favorite social channel. See yourself on the video board, tweet or Instagram your pictures using the hashtag WBCQTucson to see your photo. Leading off for China, left fielder number 43, Jing Wenbing.
Right on time for the start of the second inning here on day 1 of the Tucson qualifier for next year's World Baseball Classic. Team China with a first inning run on a 2-out RBI single from Yun Liu. Rolled over to short, Alex Schmidt to his left, and he sends it on over to get Shiying for out number 1.
And that's exactly what you're hoping for here, right? Try to get this quick, just like last inning, but don't let those guys get on with the walks.
Solbach in the first inning, 19 pitches, 16 strikes, so a little too much of the plate. As he gave up a couple of singles to Liang and then Liu, who were both behind in the count. Chen attacking on the first pitch, and he fouls it back. Jiaji Chen, 25-year-old out of Tianjin, China. He's had a very interesting character arc. Another bouncer to the left side, in the hole. Schmidt across the way, tough play, and a heck of an effort. But it's Chen aboard with an infield single.
Yeah, great effort from Schmidt there. Going to your left, your right that way is so difficult. We've seen, it's the Derek Jeter play. We talk about it all the time, the turn and spin and throw. And a great effort here. But, this is why you run down the line. You see a ball, especially into that gap right there. It's going to be hard to make that play. So good job on both sides, but now you got to run on first.
Not a bad return to the diamond for Chen, who was actually an infield coach for China in the last World Baseball Classic. This one bunted up the line, foul by Jinjun Luo. As you and I joked about, Stephen, before the game, very rarely do you see a first baseman in the 9-hole, but that's what China has here for game one.
Very rarely do you see a first baseman bunt. There you go. So now he's breaking all barriers.
So let's see how Germany plays this. Eric Brank still back behind the bag at third. And this time it's just an overmatched swing right there from Luo. The bunt taken off, and it's 0-2.
And I think that's something you're going to see a lot in this tournament. Be ready to see bunts and hit and runs and steals and stuff like that, because teams are trying to get just one run as many times as you can, however you can create that run. So you'll see that a lot even early on.
Just off the outside. With the infield back up the middle, Schmidt at shortstop, Simon Baumgart at second. Leaving a big hole on the right side of that infield. Solback nice and consistent with his delivery, and he just powers one by Luo. Strikeouts at the top and bottom of the order. 2 down here in the second.
And you get a few off-speed pitches. You got him leaning out over the plate trying to bunt, and so what do? You just take that fastball, you put it a little above the belt and try to see if he can get to it. That pitch definitely wanted it to be a little bit higher, but when you've set it up enough, you can get away with a little bit of a miss.
Back at the top of the order, throw back to first. Very close. With Chen just getting under the tag from the much bigger Donald Lutz.
There was quite a different size over there at first base, huh?
Yeah, we've got a heavyweight and a featherweight. But the featherweight a little bit quicker right there on the draw. Who struck out to begin this ball game. And then China got things going. Took the lead on the loose single with 2 outs. And the styles of these starters, Stephen, totally different, because the fastballs in terms of velocity, Zhang's got Solbach beat, but Solbach's still throwing some pretty good stuff. Soft contact on a broken bat roller to first, and Lutz is right there to end the inning. So this time Solbach fires a 0. Germany coming up in the second right after this.
From investing and taxes to cybersecurity and blockchain.
I want a wealth manager who sees where the world is going.
And understands why I me and my family there.
That's where I work with Northern Trust.
That's where you are.
Northern Trust.
That's why I work with Northern Trust.
Northern Trust. For where wealth goes next.
Fans of World Baseball Classic is in full gear, and you should be too. Official World Baseball Classic merchandise is now at store locations throughout the ballpark. Make sure to stop by and get your caps, jerseys, t-shirts, collectibles, and more before it's too late.
As promised, they look at some of the rules and regulations for these WBC qualifiers. All games played according to the provisions of the official baseball rules with a few tweaks. Pitcher use limitations. The 3-batter minimum rule is enforced. They have not adopted the mound visit rule, and there will be a DH, as you will see throughout the course of this tourney. 2023, a couple of changes from the last WBC to this upcoming one. And so far, we have both been very impressed with Yenlun Zhang. 2 strikeouts and a 10-pitch first for the Chinese right-hander.
Yeah, that velocity, not really something you expected to see.
He's just got it working.
If you look at that delivery, it's a good, compact, powerful delivery. He keeps everything so compact, and then he just explodes at the end of the delivery. Really fundamentally sound, exactly what you want to see out of a young guy getting good velocity.
Very wiry.
Very wiry.
Working with that closed stance on the first base side of the rubber. Walter fouls it back 0-2. Yannick Walter, just 20 years old, out of Heidelberg, Germany. And he was introduced to the international scene right away, 2018. He was Germany's starting catcher in the Baseball World Cup. And he lines one towards second, but who's right there to stab it for the first out?
It's a pretty good pitch right there, being able to get in on the hands of Walter. And, you know, he's a guy who's really coming into his own. It's kind of funny, you look at this roster, the Germany roster, they got 2 catchers, and they are over 10 years apart in age. So you know a guy like Walter is learning a lot from his counterpart, but that's a good curveball there down below the zone.
Did a good job adjusting to the 2-strike off speed. Ball 1 upstairs to Sean Larry on the opposite side of that age spectrum at 33 years old. He's been playing in the German Bundesliga since 2009. Which is why I think when we looked at this matchup coming in, Steve, and Germany clearly had more experience playing in their home league.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the coolest parts about this team is how many of these players play in their professional league in Germany. That couldn't have felt good.
So Zhang retired the first 4, and Germany's got its first base runner on a hit-by pitch. Sean Larry wears one.
You know, 2 hit-by pitches, 1 for each pitcher here. And, you know, there's probably a little bit of nerves going on, but also both of them to the pull side. You know, it's not that the ball's coming out too early. It's that they're holding on to it too long. And for me, that's just more of a, you know, getting your mechanics down consistently.
Just yanking it a little bit. See what Germany does here. Can't imagine that your number 5 hitter is a good base runner, but he's on the move with Baumgart stroking one through the right side. So station to station, and Germany's got its first hit.
Why wait? You know, this guy's coming up and he's throwing heat. He just plunked your last batter, and so you know he's going to want to be in the zone. I like the approach, and especially when you got that right side of the field open with the first baseman holding on the runner at first, it gives you a bunch of opportunity over there, and just a good compact swing. That's a nice approach there, and exactly what now Team Germany threatening here with only 1 out.
And this is the flexibility in the lineup that Jendrik Speer really likes. Donald Lutz, their most experienced player, in the 7th spot. You would think Lutz would be ticketed for 3, 4, or 5 in the order, but they've got him towards the bottom. Now 36 years old.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, though. You talk to Speer, they have a lot of guys they have a lot of confidence in, so it's not necessarily a bad thing that Lutz is hitting down in the order. If anything, I think it's a good thing. It shows that this team's got a more consistent talent throughout the roster than maybe we've seen in past years.
Donald Lutz hails from Watertown, New York, but he was still a baby when his family moved to Germany. That's where he originally fell in love with the game as a teenager. And he's been on the big stage for Germany before, hit 3rd for them, played first base in the qualifiers in 2017. And he's done his job right here. It's now 3-0.
Yeah, big presence in the box, very calm. You know, he's quiet in there. There's not a lot of movement. And 3-0 here. It's a tournament play. I'm going to give him the green light. You get a good pitch to hit, you get a fastball, pull it down the line.
No chance at a green light. It's a 4-pitch walk. And in the blink of an eye, Germany's got him loaded.
Yeah, stay away from a guy like that because you don't want to give up the home run. Look at that. 1 big league homer. That was on Mother's Day, May 12th. That's so cool. Look at that yank down the line. The Great American Launchpad, Cincinnati.
Sure right. Off of Willie Peralta to do it in a divisional game against the Brewers, a memorable one. That came a week after his first big league hit. And now they're loaded up. That's 5 straight out of the zone from Zhang.
Yeah, I think maybe right now things speeding up a little bit on Zhang. Got to find a way to get back in the zone. We have the hit by pitch and then the quick first pitch single and then the walk. So now you got to really narrow it back down. You got an out.
Oh, that one gets by. Here comes the tying run. It's Larry in, and the Germans have tied it in the second.
That one hurts. A pass ball there, not a wild pitch. Very catchable ball for the catcher Lee, and just unable to get the handle. I think that's exactly what you talk about when you talk about catchers trying to steal strikes. Looked like he was trying to bring that pitch back over the corner, and instead ends up going off the end of his glove. And I gotta tell you, man, that one wasn't close enough to go for the stolen strike there. And now it puts you in a tough spot because now the double play is gone.
Just amazing the contrast from the first to the second. And remember the first out that Zhang recorded here in the second, Walter hit a pretty good line drive out to second base.
Yeah.
Since then, a hit by pitch, a hard single from Baumgart. He's the lead runner at third. And Team China, after a visit, brings the infield in, the 2-0 to Bergman. And he went around. Finn Bergman, last year in the German Bundesliga, hit .398 over 24 regular season games. Had 12 extra base hits, and he drove in 17. A chance to give Germany the lead. But a chopper to third, the runners stay put. Nice play, Yoon Lu quickly across for out number 2.
Very fundamentally sound there. That's going to be something that we're going to bring up a lot. You know, with these teams, a lot of young players, and maybe not what we say always the most fundamental players, because you're still learning a lot. For him to be able to grab that at third base, look back the runner at third to make sure he's not going anywhere. You know, you got plenty of time, and throw that across the diamond. Great play by Yoon, and now you can get out of this with a tie game.
And Gene Young, the shortstop, immediately pivoted over to third base. Maybe that lights a fire under Zhang, who deals a first pitch strike to the number 9 hitter, Alex Schmidt. I got to look just a moment ago at lefty Jeremy Wu Yellen starting to get up in Team China's bullpen. Big moment here for Germany. And a nasty hook. He went around, says first base umpire Alan Izabire. And just like that, it's 0-2 on Schmidt.
Really good pitch there. I don't think you say pulling the string with a curveball, but it felt like it. It felt like he was so far out in front. Schmidt unable to just hold back there on a really good pitch in terms of speed difference.
Another slow roller to third. Tough play for Lu, and it eats him up. It trickles towards short, but only the one run will score. It's Baumgart coming across, and Germany grabs a 2-1 lead.
You know, I don't know exactly what that's going to get called yet, and they're going to call it a base hit and an RBI. So I understand that ruling. It's a tough play. Third baseman coming in like that. I think he cut himself off a little bit, and he didn't have quite the right angle getting over to first base. You see, he comes in so hard, and then he has to go over to his left, and that's why I think he ends up missing that just off the cusp of his glove. But great job backing up to make sure that that second run didn't score.
Good on Donald Lutz for not panicking and running through third base. Eric Brank over the top of strike one. So the RBI singles we have seen have come in 0-2 counts. Alex Schmidt, the number 9 hitter, comes through and gives Germany a 2-1 lead. Back to the top. Another look down at first, and again, Alan Izagirre says strike.
I don't know about that one.
You'd be the judge.
I don't have a great angle, so yeah, I'll say that.
After a 10-pitch first, Zhang has thrown 21 here in the second. And Brank, who struck out his first time, quickly calls for time.
Yeah, Brank, the exact guy they want up in these kind of situations. They put him at leadoff not only because he's a good hitter, but because he is the team captain, and you know they believe that they want him up in the high-pressure situations later in games.
And again, the off-speed gets him. That's a good response from Zhang. No throwdown required. And there's a strikeout to end the inning. But Germany sends 7 to the plate in the second. And they take a 2-1 lead into the third.
2025 World Baseball Classic Qualifiers. For more information on the Rio Nuevo district, including the economic development projects in downtown Tucson and the Sunshine Mile, please visit rionuevo.org. Thank you, Rio Nuevo District. Leading off for China, center fielder number 6, Liang Pei.
Let's take a quick peek at some of the pitcher rest restrictions here at the WBC. So basically, if you go over the 50 pitch mark, you're done for the rest of the week. 30 pitches, kind of that gray area. And now a bouncing ball through the left side. Schmidt again into the hole. He's covered a lot of ground, made a couple of nifty plays. But how about Pei Liang with another single? He starts 2 for 2.
Yeah, this is how you have to take care of this, because we talk about, you know, pitch count a lot in general in baseball, but it matters so much more in this tournament because, like you said, if you throw over 50 pitches, you're done. There is no more pitching in the tournament for you, and this 30 pitches for a day of rest can make things interesting. You can't use a 2-inning guy 2 days in a row. You have to give him time. I think it's great to make sure everybody stays healthy. Yes, this is important, of course, but it's more important to keep everybody healthy. So it's great to see these guys, you know, these rules, they all make sense. I like them all, and it does give everybody a chance to pitch, which is important too.
And that's coming from a former big league pitcher, so you know it's coming from a good source. So keep an eye on that pitch count here for Marcus Solbach, up to 33. The Team China putting the pressure on. 4 singles, but down a run after 2 for Germany in the second.
You know, I would say based on the fact that he is at 33 pitches and there's nobody warming up in the bullpen, I think they're going to let Solbach go, which makes sense because the last time he threw in the qualifiers, he threw 6 innings. So you'd rather have him win you a game and then figure it out from there.
They try the bunt, but Lee pushes it foul. Lee was up in an 0-2 count in the first inning and then got hit by a pitch. We got a chance to talk with Germany manager Jendrik Speer before this game today, and his joke was that game 1's the most important, but then once it's over, game 2 becomes the most important. Runner on the move, pitches a strike, the throw down off to the left side of the bag. That's a nice steal, and Li Yang's in scoring position with nobody out.
Yeah, perfectly executed on the running there. Just great jump. And an awesome throw. I mean, everything about that play worked out really well. Sometimes the speed of the runner just beats the arm of the catcher, and that's what you saw right there. If that throw is right on target, you gotta play. It's close, but even there wasn't actually even a tag there, so.
Lee shoots it foul.
See from this side, yeah. No, swing and a miss.
I like that Trey Turner pop-up, too, from Li Yang.
Dude, it's not a Trey Turner pop-up. It's a Tony Gwynn pop-up. Come from the San Diego boy. That's what he was all about.
Not too many better than Mr. Padre. And look at this, a little flare over short into left center field. And that's going to tie it for Team China. Ning Lee goes the other way. And once again, we're tied here in Tucson.
I am a sucker for good fundamental baseball, and I tell you what, leadoff single on the infield, steal second, and then an opposite field base hit. That's so nice. What a great approach from Team China there.
You're telling me Tony Gwynn wouldn't have loved that soft flare the other way?
There you go.
That's a beauty. And the 2 and 3 hitters for Team China have both been on twice. Li Yang has scored both runs, and Ning Li with the game-tying RBI single just a moment ago. Samuel Benjamin popped out to Eric Brankin, foul ground over at third. One up high, a ball and a strike. Samuel Benjamin's head coach at Houston Christian the last 2 years was none other than former Astros great Lance Berkman.
That is so cool.
But he did resign after last year. Again, hit over towards third. Much easier play this time for Brank. And he's got out number 1.
Yeah, looks like Samuel Benjamin's going to have to find himself
The
some new
third baseman,
bats.
number 2,
That's 2 broken bats already
Young.
in his first 2 at-bats, which is ironic because he's a guy who's faced a lot of higher velocity, but those pitchers are bearing in on him. The cutter from Solbach has been very effective against these lefties from China.
He's executed.
Yeah.
And even some of the base hits from Team China have not been hard hit. But it's 2-2. They've out-hit Germany 5-2. Going after that one. Strike 1.
Yeah, you see that's kind of the approach for Solbach here, is to use that cutter as his primary pitch, and he kind of uses the fastball as a secondary, as a pitch that when he wants to use it, kind of blow it by you instead.
So Solbach has now crossed 40 pitches. That one checked foul at the plate. Caught a piece of Liu on the way out. So Yoon Liu in the first inning came through with that RBI single the other way on an 0-2 pitch to make it 1-0. It's a piece of his lower body right there off his back leg. And already he's made more of an impact because his last appearance in the 2023 WBC came as a defensive replacement.
Yeah, and this is kind of baseball growth, right? You have to find your place in the team. All the managers we talked to talked about having to find where you can play the players that you have, but also there's going to be a little bit of tension in this. There's only so many games, there's only so many innings and spots to be filled. So you have to have a team that will buy into whatever role that the manager believes they will be the best at. And now Liu getting a chance to find himself in a starting role after being a defensive replacement. That's just growth.
And an offshoot of that, someone's feelings are going to get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's pride is going to be dented a little.
Can your team get past that, get over that as a team?
I love what Jendrik Speer, Germany's manager, told us when we spoke to him earlier this morning. Quick to the plate again, foul.
Ow, man, he's just peppering that back leg.
Taking a beating.
What's the point of a shin guard if you never hit it?
But I loved what Jendrik said, Steven, noting that there's a balance between having talent and developing talent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is a growth process for everybody. I mean, a lot of these guys, especially on Team China, are incredibly young. And so there is always going to be, you know, this World Baseball Classic, well, what am I going to do in the next one? How do I prepare? Because I want to be an everyday player in that next one.
Pitch number 45. Bouncing ball to short, a beacon for Schmidt. The funnel to second, on the first for a double play. That is beautifully turned. And it allows Marcus Solbach to get through 3 innings. But China ties it up on a ribby single from Ning Li. And we're tied through 2.5. Watch this turn. 6, 4, 3.
For all games, managers are entitled to 1 replay challenge per game.
Bottom three of the WBC qualifiers here in Tucson. Greg Caserta, Stephen Brault, the rest of our great crew. Happy to be with you on this Sunday. Approaching Sunday afternoon here in Mountain Time. Lou Helmig, part of Germany's top baseball family, just 21 years old, trying to carry on the legacy that started with his grandfather, Klaus Helmig. It's under this one, pops it up over to third, and Yoon Loo is there. Helmig retired a second time. Here's what you need in order to qualify for one of these teams and become eligible for the WBC roster, and it's a pretty long list. So we've seen guys from all over the place represent different countries around the world.
I think the most important part of this is it can be confusing if you look at all of it. But what it really comes down to is, can you get a passport or apply for citizenship for the country? Because everything else other than that is much closer to being, you know, a citizen of that country or being a citizen of that country. So I think that it's important. Really, when it comes down to it, can you be a citizen?
Another one popped up a mile high. Same result. Jin Jun Lo, out number 2.
And so with guys like Team Germany and Team China, these two teams are so interesting because most of these players were born in their home country they are playing for and play in the leagues of those professional countries. So, you know, you got China playing in the Chinese Professional League. You got the German guys playing in what is now the German Baseball League. It was just changed. And that's very important for these teams. They want to represent their country.
This one is hit well to center field, but the ballpark's going to contain it. Li Yang out there to put it away, and how about that? A 5-pitch, bottom of the third, and we remain tied 2-2 between China and Germany.
KFMA, 96.1 KLPX, and 1490 AM ESPN Tucson is a proud supporter of World Baseball Classic and welcomes all the teams to Tucson, Arizona. Fans throughout the course of today's game, teams will be adhering to the World Baseball Classic tournament rules. There are specific pitcher use limitations that will be enforced. Unless the pitcher needs to complete a batter's plate appearance, pitchers may throw no more than 85 pitches per game. Sasko would like to wish a very happy birthday to the one and only Sasha Flores. Thank you and Ray for all you do for our Tucson community.
Welcome back to the WBC qualifiers. A little profile on China. 1.4 billion people, the second largest population in the world. And of course, the Great Wall of China, which they used to tell us you could see from space. I don't think that's actually true, but the largest man-made structure in the world, and man, the Forbidden City, the largest ancient palace in the world. China's got some great architecture, obviously extremely rich history. And if you bring it to baseball, that history actually goes back a lot further than a lot of people would think. Baseball just becoming a lot bigger more recently with the development of this new Chinese professional league, but baseball's been in China since early 1900s, maybe even a little bit before. So it's great to see this team coming out here and competing in this tournament.
That's a man of high culture, Mr. Leisure, Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta. Great to be back with you as we begin the fourth inning. The tie score is 2-2 between Germany and China. And I think we just hit the nail on the head in break, talking about Marcus Solbach. He's going to be the workhorse here today for Germany.
He is. He's going to throw 85 pitches. He might actually throw a little bit more if that last hitter, you can finish the last hitter if you start before.
Inside outed to third. Brank unable to recover in time. Just a scrappy approach at the plate. Gene Young gets aboard here in the fourth.
Seeing some good defense from the left side of that German team, but that one just a really tough play. But to keep it in the infield is really big. Be able to stick that glove out there. If you glove that and throw it across, oof. But still a good job. Keep that in the infield. Make sure that he stays at first base. And now you got to worry about him at first. A little speed over there.
And that top spin off the bat of the lefty. 6 singles for China. They keep trying that bunt, but every time they attempt it on the first pitch, it goes foul.
Well, the first pitch is going to be an attempt at a drag bunt. It is an attempt at a base hit. You're trying to get on base there, so we call that fair or foul. Get it as close to the line as you can. If it goes foul, that's fine. It's not a sac bunt, so I'm okay with that. A good approach there from Xing.
That was pitch number 50 for 33-year-old Marcus Solbach. Eric Brank creeping in at third, another bunt, this one successful. Solbach is there and gets it over to the second baseman Baumgart, who's there for the cover.
So good sac bunt there, exactly as we just said. That is a beautiful execution there. And I just want to go back to this. If you get to a batter with less than 85 pitches thrown, you can finish that batter. So if you have 84 pitches and a guy comes up to the plate, it can take you 30 pitches for that last at bat, but you can still finish it. I think because Solbach's already here at 50, there is no point in not letting him go unless, he really starts to struggle, but he's looked great so far.
So the sacrifice from Xing gets Young to second with one away. Gene Young played in all 4 games in the last World Baseball Classic. He was 4 for 13 with 1 RBI. This one stroked out to center, chasing Dunn back, lines it up right in front of the 405 marker, and gets a strong throw to third on one hop, but deep enough for Young to tag.
Good throw, but Jiaji Chen, great job of driving that out to center field. That ball carried a little bit more than I thought it would. He struck that well. We saw that home run from Spain in the World Baseball Classic in Taiwan at 115 off the bat. I mean, you're seeing some really strong, good baseball here in these qualifiers. But let's take a look at that throw. Perfect. You catch it on the maybe a little bit too much on the back foot, but able to really get behind it and get a good, powerful throw into third base. Remember, folks, hit your cutoff man. That is very important.
That's the runner to third, ground ball to third. There's Brank, easier play in time to get Luo. And China strands the go-ahead run over at third base. It's been a tight one. It's been a fun one. China and Germany still tied 2-2.
Following the completion of the 7th inning.
You could not ask for a better day here at Keno Veterans Memorial Stadium in beautiful Tucson, Arizona. The mountains, sun-kissed off in the distance. Warm here, cold back home in New Jersey for me, but we don't have to worry about that for a few days. The start of 3 straight doubleheaders here with Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta. Sean Larry takes up high, ball 1. As we see the right-hander Yenloon Jung for the 4th inning, a 5-pitch third, a 10-pitch first. This is where problems started for him in the 2nd. He hit Sean Larry, who eventually came around to score. Larry whacks one on a jam shot to short. Young, high throw, off the bag, no good. And Luo stabbed it, but you could tell as soon as Young let it go, it was trouble.
That's why you run those out, right? You got to make the infielders make a play. Test the arms, see what they got. These teams don't know each other at all. And so whenever you get an opportunity to test somebody, see what they got, make sure that he has to make this play. The ball was hit very softly, definitely softer than his shortstop thought. And so Gene trying to find a way to get that over to first base, but unfortunately just throws that wide.
Yeah, Sean Larry got lucky too. Was not running full speed out of the box, but the throw offline enough that he's able to beat it out. What is the first error of the ball game? Chance here for Germany as the leadoff man gets on in the 4th. Simon Baumgart had their first hit with a single back in the 2nd. And it's 2-0. China manager Wei Li said that his job as the manager is to absorb any added pressure or outside chatter about China being in danger of missing its first WBC. Basically said, you guys go out and play, and I'll deal with all the extra noise.
Right, and that's how you have to approach this. I mean, every game is game 7. You have to manage, if you're the manager, you're managing every game that you have to win this inning right now. And the same thing with, with Germany, they're trying to figure out a way to get themselves on top early. They know they can pitch. That's something they're very confident about. So getting this lineup going any way they can, you get an error to lead off this inning, you really want to take advantage.
Bouncing ball up third, that's a base hit inside the line for Baumgart. He's 2 for 2. Larry on his way to 3rd. Germany set up nicely with 2nd and 3rd and nobody out.
Hey, they don't all have to be laser beams to get doubles. Sometimes it's just about hitting it to the right spot. And right there, just right down that 3rd baseline, there's nothing they could do. Actually, a really good play out in left field by Sheeing to make sure that they were not able to score on that, because that ball bouncing around in the corner there can be difficult. See, just no chance for the 3rd baseman, Yoon, to get that play there. And you see, get this right before it gets to that wall. Good cutoff, and that's going to be it.
Pretty quick hook for Yenloon Jung. Simon Baumgart, 2 for 2 for Team Germany. That doubled the first extra base hit of the day. China's bullpen door swings open. We'll tell you who's on his way in.
Now pitching for Team China, number 10, Suo Judy. for Germany, number 61, Donald Lutz.
Really? Right back to work here in the bottom of the fourth for Germany. And it's right-hander Xu Suo in relief of Yenlun Zhang. Zhang went 3+, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Walked 1, hit a batter, and struck out 3. But Germany threatening here once again. It's second and third, and nobody out. Donald Lutz has not seen a strike.
I got to be honest with you, I don't think I'd throw him a strike here either. You got a base open at first. The infield playing in right now. I think if you get the bases loaded, you put the middle infielders back to try to get that double play. So I'd be surprised to see a good strike here.
Walked on 4, his first time up. Now it's 3-0 from the 22-year-old Xu Suo out of Hebei, China. Was on the Chinese national team for the 2022 Asian Games. China brings the infield in, and Lutz got the green light. He got a fat one too, as he fouls it away.
So, we're talking about his last at bat was runners on first and second. Would he have the green light? Runners on second and third, he 100% has the green light there. Huge hack. Maybe got a little bit too long, but actually a pretty good pitch. Got that fastball away from his body, make sure he couldn't get that barrel out in front. So now we'll see how they approach it.
And you could see the reaction from his teammates standing over the railing. And they were careful with him that time. Lutz aboard with a walk for the second time. And now the Germans have them loaded with nobody out.
I know as a reliever, you generally don't want to come in and walk the first hitter you face, but in this situation right here, I'm not only okay with that, I think that was the right choice. Now you've got the bottom of the lineup in Bergman and Schmidt coming up, and with the infield, the corners are still in, the middle infield has moved back, get that double play in order, and if Germany ends up scoring 1 here and you get a double play and you get out of it, you're fine with that.
Suo rocking with the full windup. But he's now missed with 5 of his first 6. The first baseman, Luo, coming out off the corner there to direct Yun Lu over at third. So he's directing traffic across the diamond. The 1-0 delivery. And there's a strike. Bergman, who grounded out to third his first time up, staring at an outfield that's pretty much straight up, except for Pei Liang, who's playing out towards right center field. This is full for Germany. And a little back pick, but no throw.
Definitely a change in velocity for these German hitters from seeing mid-90s from the starter Zhang. Now you're going to a much slower approach, a lot of off speed here so far from Suo.
These players competed in last year's U23 Baseball World Cup. That one in on Bergman, who fouls it back. Bergman at the plate for Germany. Actually, his appearance was a couple of years ago, but he was incredible. He was 8 for 24. Smaller sample size for Suo. Just 4 innings in last year's Baseball World Cup. 1-2 pounded down.
And Bergman, another, it's a very interesting story. Comes from a baseball family, which is rare in Germany. It's good to see not only him, but his father, his 2 uncles also played baseball. And that's a lot in Germany. There's not much baseball out there, so it's great to see.
Full count. And so far, Suo has been thrust into a thankless spot. Came on with second and third and nobody out. He walked Lutz and is now about to throw the biggest pitch of the day. Suo to Bergman. Inside, ball 4. And Germany retakes the lead.
That's a really good at-bat by Bergman there. Fought off a few tough pitches. But in general, what you're seeing from Suo is a lot of movement. And so you see that last pitch right there. He tried to go for the front door. I don't know if that was a cutter or a slider. The curveball, tried to bring it back in over the plate. Unfortunately, unable to do so. Good take from Bergman, and you get an RBI for that. You can walk, you can hit, doesn't matter. Bases are loaded, get that run in from third.
And still nobody out for Alex Schmidt. Schmidt had the infield single in the second, which made it 2-1 Germany.
Remember, this inning started with an error. Started with an error, then a double, and now 2 walks. Germany doing whatever they can to get runs across the plate.
Tried that front door again. It's a ball and a strike on Schmidt. Originally from Canberra, Australia. He was on Germany's roster for the WBC qualifiers in 2020, but those were among the first baseball events canceled due to COVID. And he sends a drive into right field. This one hit well. Benjamin back to put it away, and the runners tag from second and third. Productive out. Second ribby for Alex Schmidt. And Baumgart scores to make it 4-2.
Great approach there. Try to get the ball in the air to the outfield. Schmidt put a bit of a charge in that one. He hit it pretty well. And then you're not going to get the out at home. You're not going to get the out at third. So what do? You throw it into second base. Make sure that runner from first has to stay there. Keep the double play in order. And so now China can still get out of it. Still 2 runs now given up. Swell looking for that ground ball in the middle of the field.
And Stephen, one thing that we haven't really noticed today, but certainly we took note of yesterday, is that the wind generally blows in here at Keno Veterans Memorial Stadium. So if you're going to get it out of here, you better put your A swing on it. There's a strike to Eric Brank, who had a really tough time with Yenlun Zhang. He struck out twice.
Yeah, come up in another situation, another RBI situation, which he came up in last time, but with 2 outs. Now the job is different. The job is different. Just get that run in from third. Not a speedy runner at third base. So you're going to have to either kind of put a charge into it or make sure that you're able to get it through the infield.
Last season with the Bonn Capitals in the Bundesliga, Eric Brank hit .414. And he's just not picking it up today. Once again, back in the count, 1-2.
Tough spot for Swo to come into. Runners on second and third, nobody out. That first walk acceptable, maybe even advisable. The second walk, though, tough. And now that sac fly.
Fastball in tight. With runners at the corners for Germany. Lutz at third. And Bergman on over at first. China's manager Wei Li watching from the dugout, hoping this one doesn't get out of hand here in the fourth. And that one's run to third, right at the bag. What a play by Liu. An unfortunate break for Lutz, nowhere to go, and Liu doubles things up to end the inning. Wow. China dodges a couple of bullets. This one hit right to third. Liu, Johnny on the spot to end the inning as Germany retakes a 2-run lead.
The sports medicine team at Banner University of Medicine treats everyone from professional and college athletes to Little League sluggers. Their best in-class doctors will help get you back at the top of your game as quickly and safely as possible. The sports medicine team at Banner University of Medicine, where your road to recovery begins. Keep your eye on the ball. It's time for the hat shuffle. China, Wu Tengyuan.
For the 5th inning, Marcus Solbach, for the first time, has a 2-run lead. It was 2-1 Germany, but China came right back with a run to tie it in the 3rd. And now a little check swing roller off of Lutz and into right field. That's a nice piece from Tenyuan Hu. For the first time, he's on with a leadoff single.
Yeah, Hu saw that double down the third baseline and said, I think I'm going to recreate that, but I'm going to go down the first baseline instead. Unfortunately, a really good play over there by Lutz to keep it in the infield. That would have been extra bases. You see him just kind of slide and stick his glove out. That's a tough play. We saw that very similarly over with Brink over at third base. Sometimes you just got to swipe at it and hope you get it.
Runner bluffs. That one hit foul very hard down the third baseline. Pei Liang, why not? Singled on the first pitch his last time up. He's 2 for 2 with both of China's runs.
Pei Liang looks to be a big part of this offense. Very good hitter, short, compact swing to the ball, gets a lot of barrel on the ball. Ray Chang, big fan of his.
He was part of that big contingent of Chinese players who appeared in the California Winter League. And he was a run producer, 9 RBIs in 16 games. Still plays in the China Baseball League with Beijing, where he was an all-star in 2019. And give China credit. They've been nickel and diming their way against Solbach. 2 runs on 7 singles. Once again, draws some activity in Team China, or Team Germany, rather's bullpen. Good breaking ball, one of the best of the day. Solbach ahead in the count, 0-2.
And that's how you get a guy who's looking to pull the ball, that first pitch, looking to pull it down the line. You stay away from him, use the off speed, see if you can get him to roll over, but stealing a strike is just as good.
0-2, chop to short, gonna be tough to turn. Flip to second. Nifty stuff from Alex Schmidt. And Steven, he has opened our eyes with some of his defense at short.
You love seeing a good defensive shortstop. It just makes everything feel so much more comfortable as a pitcher on the mound. I know if anything gets hit to that side of the field, my vacuum of a shortstop over there is going to suck it up, throw it over to second base. Good flip there, too, at second base. Unfortunately, maybe didn't quite get the velocity on it that he wanted to, so they weren't able to turn 2, but still you get that out at second base. Now you try again, get that rollover.
That is not easy to do, charging in on a ball like that. Almost have to flip it behind you. And China getting awfully close here as Ning Lee sends it foul up the right field line. Lee's also been on twice. Hit by a pitch in the first, an RBI single, which tied it in the 3rd. And Steven, you've seen a lot of games, you've been in a lot of ballparks. I gotta tell you, here in Tucson, I've never seen this before. We have porta potties situated in both bullpens.
I tell you what, man, when nature calls, you gotta go. You know, I've been in a lot of bullpens. I pitched out of the bullpen for a while. I was fortunate enough to do that in the major leagues, and so they have some built-in bathrooms. But man, especially a lot of guys, when you start to get that adrenaline, you get a little nervous, you know, and your body's gotta go. And it's actually a very important thing. I'm glad they have a bathroom out there.
I have a follow-up question to that, which we'll get to in a bit. Here's the 0-2. Solbach throws over. So when you pitched at Wrigley, was that before or after they remodeled the bullpen?
I did both.
You did, okay.
I did. My 3rd start was in Wrigley Field when the bullpens were still on the field in 16. And man, that was some of the most trash talk I've ever received. And it was like educated trash talk.
Runner goes, slash the other way, another one. That would make Tony Gwynn smile. Ning Lee pops it into left. He's 2 for 2. And China's storming right back with the tying runs on base.
Perfect approach there. Runner taking off. That shortstop's breaking to second base. Basically a hit and run, but obviously not because he had 2 strikes. And so when you're in that situation, now you have that whole side of the field. You don't even have to hit it that hard. Just get it over there. A great approach from Ning Lee. And now China, once again threatening, have not made it easy on Solbach and Team Germany. But now you get to that middle of the lineup, and Samuel Benjamin coming up in a big spot here. He's broken 2 bats. He's popped up to the third baseman both times. I think this time you're going to see him ready to get his bat head out there and maybe pull that cutter down the right field line. We'll see what he's got here.
5 of China's 8 hits have come with 2 strikes. The way they shorten the zone has been unbelievable so far today against Solbach. He's been out of the stretch most of the day. We'll See if Samuel Benjamin can, one, not break his bat, and two, hit one away from the third baseman, Eric Brank. He's popped out twice to him in foul ground. Benjamin, the go-ahead run at the plate. China not going away, down 2 for the first time. And there's another good breaking ball. Solbach has had some of his best here in the 5th.
So I think you saw a little bit of that teeter-totter, that back and forth right there. Benjamin trying to get the head out, and I think Solbach knows that. He's jammed him twice, and so now you go to the even slower stuff and get him out front.
Pitch number 65 for Solbach. There's another broken bat. Lutz knocks it down, but only has the one play. Samuel Benjamin has broken 3 bats, but he gets the runners into scoring position, and China's got a chance to tie it with Yoon Lu.
Yeah, with 2 strikes here, you know, you don't, sorry, not 2 strikes, with 2 outs here, it's not quite the same situation. Obviously, Benjamin wanted to get a hit there, but once again, that cutter bearing in on the hands of the lefties, especially Benjamin. That's 3 broken bats for him, and that's just unfortunate. And that was a different bat than the first 2 he's seen, so I'm genuinely curious how many he's got.
Someone call the lumber company. Samuel Benjamin needs some wood.
That was good. I appreciated that.
And Marcus Solbach getting a little time out here because Germany's athletic trainer's coming out to check on Donald Lutz.
Yeah, he's had an active inning over there at first base, that diving to his left and then trying to find that one. Maybe he just kind of, I think the ball might have actually hit him there. But hey, you know, first base, part of the comfort of first base is that you do have time to knock it down and get over there. But it's also part of the danger of first base. They call the third base hot corner, okay? First base is a hot corner too when there's lefties up there.
Here's a hot one right here. Let's see where it ends up. Donald Lutz down and oh boy.
That's,
yep.
that'll do it.
That knocks the wind out of you for sure. Donald Lutz telling everybody he's all right. And now Solbach gets a swing, and Lu fouls it off at the plate, strike 1. So Lu's had a couple of interesting moments at the plate. RBI single on an 0-2 pitch in the first. And he's the one who hit into that inning-ending 6-4-3 double play in the 3rd.
This might sound weird to say, but at 28 years old, one of the oldest players on Team China. Very young team, especially their pitching staff. Jeremy Will Yelland is their oldest pitcher at 27.
China by far the youngest team here in Tucson. All in a strike on Lu. Who's been an all-star and a champion in the China Baseball League. Currently suits up for the Beijing Tigers. He's won gold medals in the National Baseball Champions Cup. And he's got a chance to tie it once again for China. 2nd and 3rd, 2 down here in the 5th. 1 and 2.
You know, I think it speaks volumes for what this Team China can eventually be. It's a very young team coming from a very young baseball league that is just really finding its hold in China. And, you know, there's only 4 teams in that league right now, but they're planning on continuing to grow it. There are 4, I think, different baseball academies in China, and so a lot of learning going on of this game.
Solbach trying to dig deep. Good stop by Walter. And talk about a ball-to-strike ratio here from Marcus Solbach. That was pitch number 69. Steven, he's thrown 55 strikes.
That's a high percentage. Generally, as a pitcher, you're looking for 2/3. You know, you want 67% of strikes. He is definitely over that number.
I'm no math whiz, but I think that checks out. 2-2. Pulled to short. Schmidt in the hole. Fires to first. Oh, baby! Alex Schmidt, how do you do? He has been a whiz all day long. And he keeps Germany in front by 2 with this dandy in the hole. Alex Schmidt, the footwork, the precision, and the strike. A second look. It's even better the second time.
Your next adventure or day with the family. Hike among giant saguaros, bike the newest section of the loop, tee off at top-notch golf courses, or attend an award-winning free community event like this month's Founders Day Parade festivities. Whether you're here to play, explore, or just take in a stunning sunset, Marana is your perfect day trip. Marana is close to everything but far from ordinary. Plan your visit at discovermarana.org.
I let it cool down for 5 minutes. The only thing, usually I pounding coffees, but because of that, usually that.
Leading off for Germany, number 13, left fielder Lou Helmig.
Unless we use the zoos.
Lou Helmig goes after the first pitch, lifts it into left center, and Li Yang runs it down like a gazelle for the first out of the inning.
I mean, that's a really good approach from Helmig at the plate. Get a good pitch, first pitch, one you like, put a good barrel on it in that left center gap, but a better play out in the center field by Liang Pei, who we've seen already do some great things. Already got a few hits under his belt, now making a nice play in center field.
Swo back on the mound, waiting for Liang to reset. Helmig has been attacking early in the count. He's 0 for 3 for Germany. And now a sharp breaking ball to Dunn, who caught a piece for strike one. Things could have gone south for Xu-Di Swo. Had the bases loaded with nobody out. And now he comes inside and plunks Dunn. And that's been something in this equation here for Germany. They've only got 3 hits, but they've worked 3 walks and had a couple of hit batters.
Get on base any way you can. And this one you don't really get out of the way of. You just let that one hit you. Curveball breaking back over the plate. They don't say you have to get out of the way. They just say you can't get in the way. Good job getting on base there. Try to get something going here for this German team.
Would that bug you as a pitcher?
No, if I miss that bad, it's my fault.
Then you wear it.
If you throw it in the batter's box that the person is in, that's their space. So, no,
I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
Thank you.
Very honorable. Here's Walter.
I still hate hitters, though.
That'll never change, right?
That'll never change.
Walter cleaning up and doing the catching for Germany. He's 0 for 2.
And this guy figures to be a big part of this German lineup. It hasn't taken off yet, but he's got a good swing. He's a very young player, only 20 years old still.
Just caught the corner, according to home plate umpire Tanner Moore. Talked about Walter before, just 20 years old, but he's played with Germany's U18, U23, and national teams. Pretty advanced resume at this stage. 3-1.
Finds himself over with the Milwaukee Brewers in their minor league system.
Still has a minor league contract with them. Will likely be in the Arizona Complex League, so we won't have to go too far.
There's a little hop, skip, and a jump.
About an hour and a half.
That drive yesterday.
Count's filled up, and you wonder if they'll let Dunn get on the move here from first.
In this situation, I don't see why not. Take yourself out of the double play.
Hopefully nothing like yesterday.
And hey, maybe you get a stolen base out of it.
Lots of room in the left center field alley for the righty swinging Walter. Front of it does go, and the pitch is flied into left. Xu chasing back. He waits and drops it. And now the runner rounding. It's Dunn going to third, and China's second error can be very costly here in the 5th.
That's good base running. Unfortunate defense there. I can't really tell if the sun got in the way.
That's what I'm wondering.
It seemed like no matter what, he did a great job of getting back to that spot. You don't want to find yourself drifting. So Sheehan gets back to the spot where he needs to be. But let's take a look here and see. He's looking back towards the sun, and maybe he just actually took his eye off that ball right at the last second, checking on the runner more so than looking away from the sun.
I'm also surprised at how far that ball actually carried. I didn't think Walter really got a great swing on it. And now Germany's going to its bench.
Well, also, not to fail to mention, good base running from Lucas Dunn at second base. In that situation, you're not going to be tagging up from first and going to second. He was already stealing, and so you just kind of wait at second base, and if something does go wrong, you're able to advance to third. Great job base running, because now you got both those runners in scoring position where it easily could be first and second here.
Infield in, the pinch runner for Germany at second is their only other catcher on the roster, Vincent Arentz, who's now in the game after Walter hit a fly ball to left field that was dropped by Shi Ying. Foul up first, then Sean Larry in a 1-1 count. Could be a defensive change for Team Germany. Maybe they like Arentz's defense more for the second half of this game.
I tell you what, Arentz is known for having a very strong arm behind home plate, so maybe that's something they're looking at, cutting down this running game.
Larry hits it well into left field, and that one's down. One hop to the wall. Sean Larry has scored 2 runs. Now he's driven in 2 runs. On his way to third, Germany's got a 6-2 lead.
What a great approach. Lefty not trying to do too much. The left fielder, Shi Ying, playing in pretty shallow there, and so there was a lot of room in that left field gap. And Sean Larry taking advantage, not only getting himself 2 RBIs with a great swing, but also getting himself to third base, because he saw how far away the left fielder Shi Ying was from that. So you see him slowing around down second, and he realizes, oh, he still hasn't gotten there. I got time to get to third. So good heads up base running and a 2 RBI double. Huge, and that brings up Baumgart, sorry.
You got it. And there was an error on that ball, so a double and then the error, which gets him to third base. 2 costly ones here in the third from Wenbin Shi Ying out in left field. Germany finally gets that big blow as they open up a 4-run lead here in the 5th.
Yeah, it's just taking advantage of mistakes. Let's take a look at that, though. See how shallow he was playing. He's got to get all the way back there, and by the time he gets there, it just kind of fumbles that ball. That's one of the ones when the ball's stopped there, you're probably more advisable to just pick that up with the bare hand, turn around and throw it. Because he was slowing down around second base. He wasn't going to try to go for third, so not really a spot where you had to hurry.
Sean Larry pounding his chest as Germany takes over with 2 runs in each of the last 2 innings. And another quality AB right here from Simon Baumgart, who's 2 for 2 with a double, a single, and a couple of runs.
Also worth mentioning, the first batter of this inning in Helmig also hit a very hard line drive out to center field. So Team Germany seeing the ball well.
And there is nobody up in China's bullpen. As Suo, actually now I'm getting a second look. I was shielded, but there is a lefty starting to play catch as the walls start closing in on Shu Di Suo. 2-2. Baumgart gets another.
Good fight. That was a good pitch. Got that fastball up. Baumgart does a great job just kind of fighting that one off. Try to get the next one. With the infield in, there's a lot of opportunities for an RBI here. Infield in, outfield playing, actually I would say a little bit back. A lot of space in between the infield and outfield right now.
The second time today, Jeremy Wu Yellen warming up in China's bullpen. Good stop by Lee to keep it close by. 3-2 on the former Notre Dame product, Simon Baumgart, who transferred to Notre Dame for his graduate year last season, started all 52 games for the Irish, and hit .287 with 10 homers and 42 ribbies.
Got some jets flying over today.
Very cool sight here in Tucson. 3-2. Baumgart hit those 10 home runs one of them came off of Reds' #2 overall pick, Chase Burns, in a game against Wake Forest. He had a big series. He drove in 2 runs in all 3 games as the Irish took 2 out of 3. And Baumgart stays perfect. That's a walk. And he's aboard for the 3rd time.
He's just seeing the ball well. Just another good, easy approach at the plate. Fought off 2 fastballs that were well placed. One up, one away. And then manages to get that walk and get to first base. And sure looks like that's going to be it for Swo.
China going to its bullpen for the 2nd time. The lefty, Jeremy Wu Yelland, on his way in to clean things up.
Now pitching for China, number 18, Jeremy Wu Yelland. And a defensive change at left field, number 3, Du Nan. Now batting for Germany, number 61, first baseman Donald Lutz.
Left-hander Jeremy Wu Yelland out of Seattle, 25 years old. A 4th-round pick of the Red Sox in 2020 out of the University of Hawaii at Manoa. That was when the draft was condensed to just 5 rounds, so the Red Sox saw something in the 25-year-old. 6'1", 209 pounds, their most highly touted pitching prospect. Comes into a 6-2 game, 1st and 3rd for Germany with only 1 out. And the last 4 have reached.
Hard thrower, Jeremy Wu Yelland. He'll hit you mid-90s from the left side. Got an interesting little arm action. Definitely going to be tough for the lefty Lutz to get a good swing off here.
Keep him away.
Lutz has walked twice. And a hard slider finds its way over for a strike. So the final line right now for Shu-Di Swo, an inning and a 1/3. 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 of them earned. He had a tough time harnessing it. 3 walks and a hit batter. Good stab by Lee to keep the runners. Donald Lutz in the WBC qualifiers, hard to believe, now 13 years ago in 2012, was the starting first baseman once again for Germany. And ended up 4 for 13 with a double. Looking for a knock here. He gets jammed, and it's 2-2.
That's the accidental front door slider. The lefty-lefty front door slider. You never throw that one on purpose, and that can be one that you get damage on, especially if the guy's looking for a fastball. You throw that slider, they're able to get their hands extended. Now 2-2 count. Let's see what he goes with.
Lutz 11 years older than Wu Yelland, 25, throwing a 36, and there's another accidental slider, and Lutz gets plunked. The 3rd hit batter for Germany, and they've loaded them up once again here in the 5th.
So I always actually believed that was a good way to approach it. If you throw a bad slider, lefty-lefty, I was a lefty as well, and you throw a bad slider and they don't do anything with it, it's actually a really good idea to go to that slider again, because you know you can usually throw it better that 2nd time, but they're just kind of released it way too early, and now the bases are juiced with 1 out.
Now Germany can really bust this baby open. Good fastball up, and it's by Finn Bergman, who was up in this spot his last time in the 4th inning. He worked a bases loaded walk. Germany's kept their feet on the pedal ever since. 2 runs in the second, the fourth, and now the fifth.
Really short arm action, almost a sling from Wu Yellen. Just kind of puts that ball right by his ear. It'd be hard to pick up.
1-1. And that slider is doing exactly what he wants, 1-2. Now, Wu Yellen caught Boston's eye during that COVID-shortened 2020 college season. Only worked 13 innings, but had 16 strikeouts. And there was enough of a body of work there for the Red Sox to take a flyer, but coincidentally, his teammate for all 3 years at Hawaii was Cade Smith.
Gosh, that guy is nasty.
And because of the year, the 5-round 2020 draft, he went undrafted. Last year, Smith out of Cleveland's bullpen, 5th in AL Rookie of the Year voting, 9th in Cy Young voting as a reliever. 2-2.
And it was well deserved. And the funniest part is he throws like 80% fastballs.
It's amazing.
He just throws it right by guys, and it's not 99, it's 95, 96, but it's got so much life to it. That Cleveland bullpen is a force to be reckoned with him in Class A bringing up the 8th and 9th.
Best in the business right now. Gaddis in the 8th inning, not too shabby.
Yeah.
These are the high A numbers for Jeremy Wu Yellen and the Red Sox organization. That's the Greenville Drive. Not sure if Stephen Brault ever made his way through Greenville.
Played against Greenville, never played for Greenville.
Slider down, and once again, Finn Bergman in a 3-2 count with the bags full.
I think an important stat to look at there is the 23 walks in 33 innings. You know, that's something that a guy like Bergman's going to have knowledge of.
Payoff. Swing and a miss. Got him with the slider. And Bergman gets buried for out number 2.
That was a good pitch. In 3-2 count with the bases loaded, you have to have a lot of confidence to go to that slider, especially because he just hit Lutz with it. But that's perfectly placed. You know, Bergman's trying to catch up to that 95, so he's way out in front of the slider.
Well, I think we talked about it over dinner last night. That was your put-away pitch to righties, right? That back foot slide piece.
Yeah. Guy's trying to get the bat head out, get the ball extended.
Alex Schmidt attacks the first pitch, lifts it off first. Plenty of room for Lowe, and he's got it. And Jeremy Wu Yellen dodges traffic here in the 5th inning. But Germany gets 2 more on the gap double from Sean Larry. 6-2 Germany after 5.
Southern Arizona Sports Tourism and Film Authority would like to thank the Arizona Diamondbacks for their support of the 2025 World Baseball Classic Tucson Qualifiers. Hey, D-back fans, you can watch all D-backs games in market, both live and on demand during the 2025 season for only $99.99 a year with dbacks.tv. Visit dbacks.tv for more info. China, number 7, shortstop Yang Jin.
The lead continues to grow for Marcus Solbach and Team Germany. Solbach trying to carry the load here in game 1 of the Tucson qualifier. Now a 6-2 lead for Germany. have to wonder if they let an opportunity get away with just those 2 runs in the 5th inning. Jeremy Wu Yellen getting out of the bases loaded with only 1 away. Scorched foul by Gene Young, 1 for 2 with an infield single.
It's hard to count giving up 2 runs in an inning as a win, but I think if you're China, that's how you have to look at that last half inning. You managed to keep it to only 2 runs. It looks like that's probably going to be it for Jeremy Wu Yellen as well, with a righty going up in the bullpen for China.
Whoever it is, he'll be the 3rd reliever of the day. Whereas Marcus Solbach, as you see, 73 pitches, now 74 here in the 6th. Trying to get it across and keep the game right here. Hasn't had many. Strikeout number 3 as he goes up the ladder to get Young.
Great pitch there, great setup, and a pitch that we haven't seen very often. That fastball, we always talk about everything else is a secondary. Well, his fastball is his secondary. You know, they always call it off speed, you know, changeups and sliders. I think you can call fastball off speed if it's the pitch that is different, because it's off the normal speed that they're used to. It still works. Great pitch there.
All right, so I want to make sure that I'm on the same page with you here.
Right.
So if a guy, let's say, is pitching backwards, leading with his secondary stuff,
yeah,
now the fastball becomes off speed.
That's the way I always refer to it.
Okay. Yeah. And suddenly Solbach dialed in. 0-2 on Sheeing.
Talk about being efficient. Solbach, if he can get through 6 innings on that 85 pitch count, that'd be very nice.
And Stephen, he has not had a 1-2-3 inning through 5. And yet here he is battling in the 6th inning. He has survived 8 Chinese singles. China's
just got to spread them out.
And there's another one. Back-to-back punch-outs for Marcus Solbach as he grows stronger in the 6th.
You know, I think that's something that is not talked about very often. When I was coming up, people would talk about players that got better as the game went on. Justin Verlander is a great example of a guy like that, who used to throw slow in the beginning of the games and throw hard at the end of games.
DeGrom. Talked about him last night.
Right. And nowadays, the conversation is always, 3rd time through the order, guys don't do as well, and that is generally the case, so I understand it.
Jiaji Chen just waving that baton. And now Solbach on the verge of striking out the side here in the 6th. Marcus Solbach, pitch number 82. Good night. Oh boy, they might have woken a sleeping giant. Marcus Solbach triumphant. Germany up on China 6-2.
Sponsorships, donations, and volunteer hours. HSL, it's about community. See yourself on the video board. Tweet or Instagram your pictures using the hashtag WBCQ Tucson to see your photo.
Is it really Padre?
Padre?
Leading off for Germany, 3rd baseman, number 30, Eric Brandt.
We are back for the bottom of the 6th inning. Game 1 of the World Baseball Classic Tucson Qualifiers. This one served in the air right side. First baseman Jinjun Luo there to put it away. Eric Brank taken care of. And all things considered, Germany's gotten by, no problems, with Brank 0 for 4 at the top of the order.
Yeah, you know, sometimes this is how these tournaments have to be done. You can't depend on one guy because baseball is a difficult game. You're not always going to have your best game. So your lineup all the way through has to find ways to be productive. And you see that. You got Simon Baumgart is 2 for 2 with a walk. He's hitting in the 6th hole. They have so much talent through the lineup for Germany. It looks really good.
Now, Stephen, you and I are a little surprised to see Jeremy Wu Yellen back here for the 6th, but we surmise that it's because it's the top of the order here for Germany. A little time out here. Helmig got something up in his eye.
Yeah, you'd think maybe they'd let Wu Yellen rest so they could bring him back. You know, no matter what at this point, he's going to have to take tomorrow off. So you might as well let him get to that 30 pitches, right around that 30 pitch mark.
Yelland out of the stretch.
Has had a little trouble with that slider, specifically against lefties, though. And I'll tell you what, that can be the case sometimes because when you have a righty up in the box, you have kind of a target that you're throwing to. You know, you're just worrying about bearing it in and down on them. With lefties, you got that whole plate wide open, and sometimes it can lead to a little bit harder command.
Dead red with the fastball, Lou Helmig, who we found out talking this morning with German manager Jendrik Speer, or Jendrik Speer rather. He's Jendrik's godson.
Yeah.
Jendrik very close with the Helmig family. 3-2 now.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, the Helmig family, the grandfather of German baseball, is the grandfather of Lou Helmig. And, you know, with Jendrik Speer being a part of the German national team for 20 years, playing for 20 years.
And Wu Yellen digs deep, bounces back from 3-0 and strikes out Helmig for out number 2. Here's a little more on Jeremy Wu Yellen, who had Tommy John surgery in April of 2022, didn't return until the second half of 23. And so far we've seen that fastball generated a couple of strikeouts here for an inning plus in relief. Is done at the plate. He stares at strike 1.
What you would call a stuff guy. Not really a high command guy, but does a good job of just keeping hitters off balance with just nasty stuff. You're in the zone enough, people know they have to swing.
This one's corked out to right center field. Li Yang running back. He won't get there, and that's good for extra bases. Lucas Dunn drills a double, and he's now 1 for 3. With Germany starting to catch up to China in the hits department. Again, Germany keeping the pressure on. They're trying to score for the 4th time in the last 5 innings.
Yeah, that one, he tried to get that slider to the back foot and just left it up and out over the plate. That gives Dunn plenty of opportunity to extend those hands and just drive that ball in the right center field gap. No chance for center fielder Pei Liang out there in center field. Great job by Dunn. This German offense come ready to play that.
That's the 5th hit for Germany. But 3 doubles. And for the first time, it's Winston Arentz who swoops it foul. Arentz came on as a pinch runner for Yannick Walter in the 5th inning. Wow, we just saw a fighter jet flying away. It's currently hovering out beyond the right center field wall.
Man, that is so cool.
And the maneuvering that this pilot is doing, these are hairpin turns.
Showing off.
To wheel around the first base side. That is just amazing. And you can hear it. I know you can pick it up wherever you're watching because it is loud, believe me.
Got a flyover coming on Thursday, but we're getting a bunch of flyovers in day 1 here today.
These are not planned, by the way. 1-1 is picked out by Lee.
Arentz is an interesting character in that he is much older than the catcher Yannick Walter that was in before him. But Arentz known more of as a defensive-minded catcher, so it makes sense to go, now that you got that lead, try to make sure that you keep the Chinese team off of the board. Known for his very strong arm behind the plate.
Head in the count, 2-1. Now, Arentz has had a couple of appearances lately. Over Valentine's Day weekend, he played in Baseball United, the 4-team league based in Dubai. Played for the Arabia Wolves in their 3-game sweep over the Mideast Falcons.
Caught my friend Dovydas Neverauskas in the Bundesliga a few years ago, and that was the one thing that he said. He's a great catcher. He's very smart. You know, he does a great job of calling pitches, but also got a bazooka of an arm, which I hope we get to see.
Germany leading China 6-2 as we get close to the final third of this game. Big lead at second, nobody paying attention. And Arentz fouls it off. Lucas Dunn could have crawled into third base.
Yeah, that would have been an easy one. But in a 3-2 count, pitcher, honestly, not probably paying that much attention to you. Good idea to be able to get that free base if you can take it. But also, if you're Jeremy Wu Yellen with 2 outs and the bases, and the count full, you're not really focused on that runner at second.
Another payoff, and Wu Yellen closes it out with his 3rd strikeout. 2-out double from Lucas Dunn, nothing else for Germany as they take a 6-2 lead over China into the 7th.
Focused on all forms of temporary and permanent visas to the United States. Wolf Sultan Vasquez, PC, Tucson's premier immigration law firm since 1976. Visit az.com for more information.
Berm too. Top of the 7th here in Tucson, and Germany leads at 6-2. Great crowd here at the Keno Sports Complex. A lot of kids out there having some fun, getting some baseballs from the outfielders. I actually don't know. Do they have special World Baseball Classic baseballs? I don't know.
That is something that you and I will find out.
Yes, we will.
In between games 1 and 2. Our great producer extraordinaire, Mike Trainer, telling us that he believes they do have special WBC baseballs.
I'm gonna snake one of those for
I mean,
sure.
we got special WBC polos.
That's true.
So why not? And there's a curveball from Marcus Solbach embarking on the 7th inning.
Amazing.
Certainly not what we expected after the bumpy start, but after striking out the side in the 6th inning, he's now retired 5 in a row and 6 of the last 7.
And this is it. This is pitch number 85. So he is done after this hitter.
Fouled back by Luo, trying to get something started here at the bottom of China's order.
We were joking, if he was able to get this batter done in 2 pitches, he could have faced another one. Unfortunately, got the swing and miss on the 0-1 count. So now just trying to finish it off strong.
The wind in the 0-2. And it's poked foul by Team China's captain for the 2023 World Baseball Classic. Luo 2 for 10 with 3 RBIs in 4 games. For a China team that's never had to qualify for the main tournament. Swing and a miss. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen from Marcus Solbach. And that is going to do it. Over 6 1/3 He strikes out the last 4 batters he sees, and thus ends his week here at the Tucson Qualifier.
I mean, you can't ask for any more out of Solbach. The first game of this tournament, to be able to come out, not only give you 6 1/3 strong innings, but to be able to show kind of this German team's for real. We're here to win games right now.
Stand up, Marcus, take a bow. Germany going to its bullpen for the first time.
Now pitching for Germany, number 23, Jordan Martinson. Batting for China, number 40, second baseman Hu Tenyuan.
Marcus Solbach gives Team Germany 6 1/3 innings. He strikes out the last 4 batters he faces. And now a swing off the bat of Tenyuan Hu. 1 pitch. There's the second out to center field. Jordan Martinson, 1 pitch, 1 away. Solbach was in the zone most of the day, giving up 8 hits over 6+, 87 pitches, 69 strikes. Giving way to the 27-year-old Jordan Martinson, who pitched at Dallas Baptist University from 2016 to 2019. Talk about an under-the-radar college program. He was teammates there with Colin Poche, Derek Hall, Seth Elledge, and Cody Funderbuck.
It's one of my favorite names.
Yeah, that's a good one, especially for a reliever.
Right. He's got to have a mustache.
They strike 1 pitch up high. It's 1-1 on Pei Liang.
Martinson did make his way into affiliated ball. Actually got all the way up to AAA in 2021. But since then, he's been playing in the Australian League and indie baseball around the country. One of my favorite things about Team Germany, I went through and found and made a list of all the different leagues that the players have played for, and it is truly incredible. I mean, they've had guys who have played in the French professional league, the Italian professional leagues, German, obviously, affiliated ball, Nicaragua, Australia. I mean, it is crazy how much these guys have gotten around the world.
2-2, served over short and down for a base hit. Pei Liang continues to get the job done. That's his 3rd single for China, accounting for a 1/3 of their hits.
A soft serve there over the shortstop's head. Look at that. A little half swing.
Very subtle bat drop.
He actually did barrel that up pretty well.
Yeah.
He just stopped his swing.
Keeping the inning going here for China. They have out-hit Germany 9-5, and yet they trail by 4.
Just haven't really seen the Chinese hitters drive the ball yet.
And Martinson comes inside and plunks Ning Li. So the door opened just a smidge here for China, with 2 gone in the 7th.
Well, normally, as a pitcher coming in lefty-lefty, that's the 2nd time we've seen lefty hit a lefty here, and I really do think that that's something to watch as this goes on, because generally you're bringing in lefties to get lefties out.
Martinson comes back. Nice breaker to Benjamin for strike one. So if you've been with us, we've told you about Samuel Benjamin in the cleanup spot for Team China with several broken bats and an 0 for 3 with nothing leaving the infield. Got a chance to allow China to climb back into this one, down 4 here in the 7th. Ball and a strike from Martinson.
It's not very often a lefty hitter will be happy to face a lefty pitcher, but after those 3 at-bats, the 3 broken bats against Solbach, I think Samuel Benjamin just wanted anything different.
2-1 on Benjamin.
And this could be a big situation. I know it seems far away, but if he hits a 3-run homer here, this game changes really quickly.
If there's anybody that China wants up for a bloop and a blast, it's certainly Benjamin. He gets under this one and sends it a mile high. Tough sky for Lucas Dunn in center. He waits, he's got it, and the inning's over. Time to stretch here in Tucson. 6-2. It's Germany on top of China here on day 1.
Fans, it's now time for the 7-minute stretch. Release of pitching for China, right-hander Soon Yi Kong. Leading up.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Sun.
Here's what's coming up in this very busy Tucson qualifier for next year's WBC. Later tonight, game 2 of our doubleheader between the 2 top dogs, Brazil and Colombia, followed by our doubleheaders on Monday and Tuesday. Those first games on Monday and Tuesday will be simulcast on MLB Network as we get ready for Brazil and Colombia later tonight. We move to the bottom of the 7th. Alongside Stephen Brault, I'm Greg Caserta, the rest of our great crew. Happy to be with you here in Tucson. Yi-Tsong Sun, the new pitcher for Team China, as he delivers home and pounds the inside corner. It's a strike to Sean Larry.
Yeah, quickly ahead 0-2.
Beg your pardon, 0-2, yes.
We have a 2-way player on the field for China today.
Big swing. Larry, I'll tell you about him in a moment. That's over at first base. Yu Yang Lee now taking over at first. He's actually listed on the China roster as a pitcher, but he is now in there for Jin Jun Luo. And Larry waving and missing at that elevated fastball. Nice start for Yi-Tsong Sun, out number 1 here in the 7th.
Just a good job of going back and forth with the velocity. Started him off a little bit slower and gets that fastball up to the top of the zone. Good job of approaching Larry, who's just trying to get his hands extended, hit that double last time up. First victim for Sun.
Jeremy Wu Yellen gave China an inning and 2/3. No runs, 1 hit, and he struck out 3. did hit the first batter that he faced. All in all, a good appearance to keep Germany right here at 6-2. Germany with 2 runs in the second, the fourth, and the fifth.
And Yi-Tsung Sun is a Division II college player, which I always feel a close connection with because I also played in Division II. But they won the Division II College World Series. Sorry, they got there in 23 and 24. Pretty awesome.
And it's a 4-pitch walk to Baumgart, who stays perfect. 2 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs. China's been unable to figure him out. And even though Germany, we've talked about this a few times, Stephen, they've been out hitting this game 9-5. They're drawing their walks. Very, very tough eyes at the plate.
You just got to find a way to get on base to keep the baton being passed to the next guy, find a way to get multiple runners on base, and then the big hit is worth more. You know, if you get a double with nobody on, we've seen that with China, it doesn't really matter. But you get a double with guys on first and second and third, which is what Germany has done. That's how you put those runs on the board.
Donald Lutz hasn't been given much to hit. He offers it this one and fouls it back. So far, Lutz has walked twice and been hit by a pitch. Just to finish the line on Yu Yang Lee. He came on as a pinch hitter for China and struck out in the top half of this 7th. I don't know, I'm just getting a feeling that Donald Lutz might run into one sooner rather than later.
Big man in the box, getting the Barry Bonds treatment today.
The second ever graduate of the MLB European Academy to make the majors. Oh, he was looking for that 2-run homer swing. It's 1-2. The first one was Italian Alex Liddy, who actually just recently announced his retirement from pro ball. Feel that breeze from Donald Lutz. Cooling off some of the fans here in Tucson. Runner goes, pitches up, throw a wing down to second, and it sails into center field. Baumgart pops up, he's into third, no problem. And Germany's got another run just 90 feet away.
Baumgart has done everything right in this game so far. I was actually kind of surprised to see him hitting down in the 6th hole because he is a guy that figures to be a big part of their offense. But what a great jump from first base. Really not a chance to get him on that throw down to second. That was all the way on third. Now Lutz just got to get a ball up in the air.
How many times have we seen this? China with the infield in. 2-2 to Lutz. Big drive. Right field. Did he do it? Yes, sir. Donald Lutz banging his chest, rounding the bases. 2-run bomb for Germany, and it's 8-2.
An absolutely great swing from Lutz. The fastball from Sun has a little extra carry to it than you'd expect. And I gotta be honest, Lutz didn't get all of that.
No, he didn't.
He really did not. That was in on the hands a little bit, but the strength of the big man gets it out over the right field wall. That's a huge, I'm not gonna call it the dagger, but an absolutely massive blow for the German offense against Sun here in the 7th. What a great swing.
So I don't think we knew that he got all of it, but we'll take a look and see if Donald Lutz reacted like he knew that he got all of it. The big man goes boom. And it's 2 more runs for Germany here in the 7th. Ball and a strike on Finn Bergman. It was 2-2 after 3, but the Germans have scored 2 in the 4th, the 5th, and now the 7th. Here comes Lutz again. Let's see if he knew. I don't think he did. He's running.
He wasn't sure.
Big man's running. And then watch this. So cool for the 36-year-old.
I mean, amazing to think about. He was playing in the qualifiers in 2013, 2012. That's insane.
A long time, Stephen Brault.
And if you look at this German offense, look where all these runs are coming from. The bottom of the order. That's where these runs are coming from, and that's how you get a good, consistent offense. There is no let-up in this offensive lineup for Germany. It's impressive to see. I understand why Jendrik Speer is such a big fan of this team.
6 hits for Germany and 4 extra base hits, 3 doubles and the Lutz home run just a moment ago as they start to pull away 8-2. When you think about China and the fact that they've out-hit the Germans 9-6, and yet they've gone 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. So the opportunities have been there, but Germany's been a little bit more timely. Payoff. There's a walk. Bergman's 2nd of the day.
And it continues. Find any way to get on base. And now that you've gotten to this point of the game, the lead is so large. If you're Team China, you don't want to use any more pitching than you have to. So you're hoping that Yi-Tsong Sun is going to be able to find his way through these next few innings. But it does look like they're going to start warming somebody up in that bullpen now.
We talked about this before. 6 walks, 2 hit batters for Germany. So as many walks as they have hits. It's a very balanced attack. And then you couple that with the 6 1/3 and 2 runs from starter Marcus Solbach. Add it all up, it's an 8-2 lead here in the 7th. 0-1 on Schmidt, who's driven in 2 of those runs. Steven touched on the bottom of the order. Very productive. Lutz has been on 4 times. He just hit the 2-run homer. Bergman's walked twice and brought in a run. He's on at first, and Schmidt's driven in 2. And Sun not doing himself any favors by falling behind.
And all of the RBIs for Germany coming from the 5 below hitters, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is indicative of a consistent offense.
They're just not giving any at-bats away. It's been amazing how dialed in they've been at the plate.
And Schmidt, what a good 9-hitter to have. Very patient, great on defense.
And another walk. And Sun just doesn't have the zone right now. He's faced 5 hitters and walked 3.
Now batting for Germany.
And that's going to happen sometimes. Unfortunately, in a scenario like this, it's really blown up. You know, you don't really have the opportunity to necessarily make up for it. You know, especially when you come in as a reliever in this game. Now you're looking to try to just end this as quickly as possible. And you got the double play opportunity with Brank up at the plate.
At some point, we need to track down that trumpet player. He was just playing the Imperial March from Star Wars. I can't tell what side of the concourse he's on.
I think he's over to first base side, but it's a very nice trumpet.
And he's playing it well. He's hitting his notes.
Right.
2 on, 1 away, the pitch. And Brank's late on it. It's been that kind of day for Eric Brank. He's 0 for 4. But it really doesn't matter right now. Germany just 6 outs away from opening up this tournament with a win. So you say he's on the first base side. I thought he was on the third base side.
Oof. I don't know.
1 and 2.
It's kind of hard to tell in the stadium environment which way the sound is coming from.
We have all sorts of theories as to the origin of this trumpet sound. Hopefully the detectives up here can figure it out for you as we move along.
We're not very good.
1 and 2 from Sun to Brank, and he gets them. And Brank is down on strikes for the 3rd time today.
Yeah, really tough day for Brank. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. And you know what? You're going to get to play 3 more games in the next 3 days.
Yi-Tsong Sun, 24 years old, trying to get through this 7th.
That's 31.
When he was in high school, he was actually coached by China's hitting coach Ray Chang on an MLB China development team. Sun eventually moved his way to the United States 4 years ago, played in the Expedition League, which was a college summer league. He's pitched here in the U.S. before. He was in the MLB Draft League this past summer and worked a little more than 22 innings. And as Steven mentioned before, currently a senior at Augustana University in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. This one blooped into shallow right. It's down for a base hit. Lou Helmig drives in a run, and Bergman scores. It's 3 for Germany here in the 7th as they move ahead 9-2.
Helmic's had some pretty good at-bats today. Just nothing really panned out for him so far, but they're, you know, not super hard contact, but a good job of getting that ball in that nice Bermuda triangle between where the outfielders are and where the infielders are playing. The right fielder for China playing back pretty far.
I was going to say, Samuel Benjamin was respecting his pull power. He was deep and right. Look at how far he has to come in. And he had no chance. So Lou Helmick shakes off an 0-for-4 RBI single. And now it's Dunn getting a piece. Dunn, 8th batter here in the 7th, which was punctuated by that 2-run homer into Germany's bullpen from Donald Lutz. One and one.
I think that Lutz homer does more than just put you ahead, right? It kind of shows that they're here not only as, they're not singles hitters, they're hitting doubles, and now they're showing the power for the home run game as well. And that can be really big for this German offense to not only be able to get on base, but to get those base runners to score with big hits.
Runner goes, Germany looking to pour it on. It's a strike. Done now with 2 in scoring position.
There's no such thing as a comfortable lead. There is a mercy rule in this tournament.
Not in this environment.
But we're not going to hit that here.
Dunn doubled his last time up, 1 for 3 with a run. Choking up with 2 strikes. And he launches down the left field line, but that one is ticketed foul. Just a bit out in front.
You know, Lucas Dunn knew that was foul off the bat, and I think it ended up being a lot closer than he thought it was going to be. That's one of those ones where you pull it down the line, you figure it's going to tail away and go further foul. That one, I think he backspun a little bit more than he initially thought. So it ended up being really close down that line. He missed by what, 2.5, 3 feet?
Those fans behind Germany's dugout on the first base side threw some oohs and ahs. They got a pretty good look at it. Sun trying to survive here in the 7th, a 1-2 to Dunn. And I'll tell you what, Ning Lee has done a great job blocking the ball in the dirt today.
He has, and that's something that often goes unnoticed. Catchers don't get enough credit. I think being a catcher is the most thankless job in baseball, but truly something to watch when a guy has the commitment, because that's really what it comes down to a lot of times, the commitment to making sure that ball does not get by.
That's scorched into right center field, and that's going to find the alley. It goes all the way to the wall. Lucas Dunn, back-to-back doubles, 2 more ribbies, and Germany's blown it open. It's now 11-2.
Great swing again by Dunn, going the opposite way. After he pulled that ball right down the left field line and just missed the extra bases there, he says, well, you know what? There's a lot more grass if I just go to the right center side of the field. Great swing there. An unfortunate outing for Yi-Tsung Sun today. And that'll be it for him. But look at that swing, just driving the ball into that right center gap. Good stuff.
That was a bullet from Lucas Dunn. And 8 batters end up coming to the plate here in the 7th for Germany. They're not done yet. 2 outs. And China going back to its bullpen for the 4th time. We're going to keep it here as we get a look at the new right-hander for Team China. Mercy rule is a possibility right now. With Dunn at second base, if Germany can score right here, they can end this one very early.
Yeah, it would be huge for them to be able to come out and make a statement. I think they already have. I think that this offense has really shown that they're here to bang. And, you know, I think what we're going to see is you're trying to, if you're China, obviously you would like to complete this game, get this game as close as possible. But they, you know, with a new pitcher in, your job is going to be to try to keep this to get to the end of the game, which is a strange goal, I guess you'd say, to have. But it'll be interesting to see how Germany plays this, because a single here ends the game. And it may be a strange walk-off situation. But we found Mr. Trumpet. Look at him,
folks. There he is.
He's wearing an Arizona Fall League hat. That is the Scottsdale Souls, I think, hat.
Or the Mesa Solar Sox.
Mesa Solar Sox, yeah.
And he's been locked in since first pitch.
Oh, yeah.
This game now approaching 2.5 hours, and he's been on his trumpet all day.
I was right, by the way, down the right field line.
I'll give you this one.
Thank you. Look, I can see him. He's right there.
Great job by our crew tracking him down. I don't know how we didn't find him earlier. I mean, he's basically sitting by himself.
Yeah, and it was so obviously coming from down the right field line, so.
Steven and I just couldn't locate him, but Brault wins this one. And that's the first pitch from the new pitcher, Gwing-Shuen Sun, who takes the baton from Yi-Tsong Sun. Winston Arentz, 9th batter here in the 7th for Germany. They've exploded for 5 runs to grab an 11-2 lead. And again, if that runner, Lucas Dunn, scores from second, you see him dancing on your screen, bottom left. Germany will wrap it up via the mercy rule, up 10 here in the 7th. So that's certainly a big story right now. It could end right here, but not if Arentz doesn't get anything to hit. It's 3-0.
And, you know, with Lucas Dunn getting that 2 RBI double and Lou Helmig getting that RBI single, now 6 different players on Germany have driven runs in today.
Arentz struck out in his first plate appearance. He'll stick around for one more.
Outfield from China definitely playing further in than they were earlier this game, trying to cut off that run at home on a single to the outfield. Maybe a bit of a generous call, the 3-0 pitch there.
And you could see Dunn getting that secondary lead. Big swing, cracked foul by Arentz. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic, Inc. and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. 2 outs, last of the 7th, 5 runs in for Germany.
I bet the trumpet guy could put that to music.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Definitely.
Payoff up high, and Arentz is on with a walk. And I think that might get lost in the shuffle of this game. I think it bears repeating that Germany has as many walks as they do hits at 8 and 8.
I mean, that's how you keep the pressure on a pitching staff. No easy at bats. We've seen some first pitch swings, but really not that many. And you know, and when they've been swings, they've been aggressive swings. And if they miss it, that's fine.
And now they've batted around, and here's Sean Larry, who actually opened this inning with a strikeout. But things have gone haywire since then. 7 have reached. It's Dunn, the possible winning run at second because of the 10-run mercy rule here in the WBC. Curveball dropped in. That's a good hammer from Sun.
Yeah, good breaking ball there. And a big pitch, trying to get out of this inning here. Runners on first and second. Of course, Sean Larry had that double earlier.
On 0-2. Yi-Tsong Sun, who started this inning, could not finish it. 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 5 runs all earned. 3 walks and 2 strikeouts, so it was all or nothing for the righty. 2-2 on Larry.
I know I keep harping about the consistency of the offense, but look at this. Every hitter from 3 down in the Germany lineup today has been on base at least twice. That's hard to pitch against.
Lowry's been on 3 times. Baumgart on deck's been on 4 times. And this one should end it. Down the line, if it's fair, this one's over, and it hooks foul. Larry thought he had it right there, and I think many in the ballpark thought this one was on its way to the finish line.
That one hooked so much more than I thought it was going to. After the one down the line to the left side by Baumgartner, now you get the opposite down the right field. Sorry, by Dunn, now you get the opposite down the right field line. Definitely thought that was going to end that one off the bat. Now you get to do it again.
Larry got a good look at the last one. Another 2-2 from Yi-Tsong Sun. This has been a heck of an at-bat because Larry fell behind 0-2. really indicative of what we've been talking about. Germany, again, just every at-bat, they are grinding it out, making it nearly impossible for China to put them away. Runners go on the 3-2, and it's in tight. And now the winning run is at third for Germany.
Another walk, and now that the walks take over, 9-8 walks to hits for Germany.
This one was tight. Get another look right here, looking for that inside corner, and it's up high. So Larry from 0-2 down draws the walk. He's on base for the 4th time today. And here's Simon Baumgart, who hasn't been retired yet.
Yeah.
Winning run 90 feet away, but there's strike one.
Looking to end a perfect game pretty much for Baumgart, and it would be a perfect way to end it. Walk off with the mercy rule here in effect if they get up by 10 here in the 7th.
Strike one pitch. A walk right now is as good as a hit. As Steven and I mentioned, the 10-run mercy rule in effect here in the 7th inning. And there's Lucas Dunn representing that winning run at third for Germany. 1-1 offering. And he got a good look at that curve, but just couldn't get around in time. It's 1-2.
This inning has gone off the rails, unfortunately, for China. Started with a strikeout. Since it was walk, home run, walk, walk, strikeout, single, double, walk, walk. It's really hard to keep an offense down if you're giving them so many opportunities freely on the bases.
Very cluttered bottom of the 7th for Germany. And a great take by Baumgart. Another tough curveball.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to offer at that one a 65-mile-an-hour breaker. At that speed, you almost got to not swing twice.
This is your ball game right here. 2-2. And now it truly is, because there is nowhere to put Simon Baumgart. 10-run mercy rule is in play here in the 7th inning. Dunn, the only one who matters at third base as Germany looks to get out early here on day 1 of the Tucson qualifier. And now the payoff. Big swing, and it's fouled back by Baumgart.
Man, he is just locked in. There, it seems like anything that's remotely close to the zone, but out, he's taking, and then anything that's in the zone, he's right on. That was a good carrying fastball by Sun, and a good job by Baumgart to just fight it off to try to get a better one here, 3-2.
Another payoff from Sun. Here he comes down the hill. Popped up off of first. And over the Germany dugout, one more coming. It'll be pitch number 8. And this encounter between Yi-Tsang Sun and Simon Baumgart, who's been on all 4 times. Single, double, 2 walks, and 3 runs. Mercy rule in play for Germany. Payoff. Steven said it best. He is locked in on everything that Sun's bringing right now.
Yeah, and you know, it's a different feel now that you have the mercy rule. This at bat takes on such a bigger feeling than it would if we were just seeing what would happen and going into the rest of the game. This is the game,
and it saves Germany's bullpen if they can win it right here.
Absolutely.
Germany looking for the mercy rule win in the 7th. 3-2. There it is. Good afternoon and goodbye from Tucson. Germany, 10-run rules China. And I don't know if they're aware yet, the umpires finally come together, because now everybody's aware that Germany's won via the 10-run rule. Lucas Dunn trots home with the winning run. And Simon Baumgart, as Steven said, remains perfect, finishing off the day with 2 hits, 3 walks, and the game-winning RBI to wrap it up for Germany.
Yeah, I mean, look, you get 10 walks as an offense, and you're going to be able to find a lot of ways to score runs. A few big hits, along with just consistent great at-bats, really solid defense from the German team. And look, this German team, when we talked to Jendrik Speer before the game, he said straight up, this is the best team that Germany's ever brought to this tournament. And you can tell they are here to try to get themselves to the WBC for the first time. And I think they have the team to do it. That offense is for real. And talk about what a performance from Solbach today, huh?
Solbach was terrific. I mean, that's only part of the story. 6 1/3 innings. Ended up striking out the last 4 Chinese hitters that he faced. 6 punch-outs over 6 1/3. So he's done for the tournament, but Germany's just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
And in the end, the final tally, 12 runs on 8 hits, 10 walks for this lineup. If this continues, they're going to be a very tough draw for both Colombia and Brazil.
Oh, yeah, and you have to realize most of those walks were not gifts. They were hard-earned walks. You know, guys fouling off tough pitches, getting themselves back into the count. We saw 0-2 to walk. We saw 1-2 to walk. We saw 3 foul balls with 3-2 counts. Great job finding themselves on base. And then, of course, all the big hits delivered, punctuated by that big homer by Donald Lutz. Just a lot of fun to watch.
And it ends up being a 10-run rule win for Team Germany. Deutschland indeed, as qualifier play continues through Thursday, March 6th here in Tucson. Later tonight, it should be a dandy, a South American showdown as Brazil and Colombia square off in their respective pool openers. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. local time. For Stephen Brault, I'm Greg Caserta, and this was so good. The fans came out, they were loud, they were supportive. There was a trumpet player, and in the end, Germany overcame an early deficit. They rode their starter, Marcus Solbach, for 6 1/3, and the offense was relentless as they 10-run ruled China 12-2. Again, for Stephen Brault, I'm Greg Caserta saying so long for now from the desert. Thanks for watching this special presentation of the World Baseball Classic.